as I look at your work, and it's just incredible how engaged you are in your communities. You are truly transforming people's lives, right? Like, it's a passion, it's a purpose. What role does patience have in your working with others? Why is it important to study patience for you, like, as your calling?
I want to help give some data that says the things that we've been discussing, right? I want for people who are dubious or skeptical saying, oh, I really don't want to give this a try, to say, science says it might work, give it a shot. Because I think what our study results show us is that you can't really get the most meaningful things in life, good relationships, meaningful contribution to the world, connection with something greater than yourself. None of those things can be attained without patience. It's like they are missing out on the good life because they're not valuing this attribute, this character strength that we really need. And I think a lot of it's out of fear of suffering. Like, that sounds hard, and that sounds scary. And so I think with my work, I'm like, I want to be able to help convince people to give it a shot. I can't sell them completely with science, but at least with our research, we can say, you know, this might make it better for you.
But your work makes my work much easier, because all the people that are faith believers are like, yeah, of course you say that, Rabbi. But when I say, well, actually, the science.
Right, that's right. I want to help you.
You're like, how do you know that?
You're like,
turns out I spoke with the professor.
Yes, right, and that's right. I want to equip. I always joke around. I'm like, I feel like I don't actually help that many people in my life, right? I'm just in their lab. But right. Science is such a slow growth industry. Like, I don't see the impact probably for 30 years of maybe the study I'm working on, and I might not see it, right? Because it changes the zeitgeist, and the culture starts to shift if enough of us do the right kind of work.
It's the patience for patience.
It's the patience for patience, but right. And I think that's just, we've got to redeem this word patience and this cultivation of patience. In some ways, if we don't, we might be doomed. Like, we've got to care about it.
I agree with your last statement, because when you were talking, I started to think about just the added benefits of patience. If you look at our society and things in history that seems to be repeating itself, but we're not slowing down enough to really be conscious of it. And so it's just becoming this, now our generation is going to do the same thing previous generations have done before. And so we could be doomed without it. When you're running a nonprofit and some of those things patients contradict with needing outcomes and statistics and so on and so forth. It's this pressure from the business side of having a nonprofit, but then also when you live in a community, you understand that my own growth and being didn't happen overnight either. And how do I help be a part of someone else's healing in their time of hurt? And so it's such a process that you go through. And when you have those varying pressures, you can sometimes miss out on the moment of actually being present with people in the midst of their suffering.
I really identify with what you said, Harlan, because as a rabbi, you know, I'm a rabbi because I'm a talker. I love to talk. I got in trouble in school for talking, and I made that a career, right? And so I'm so in love with talking. But so much of my job is about listening. And we live in a society where we don't listen anymore. We wait to talk. Right? And so much of my job is sitting there, having the pause, waiting, and not intervening and being like, why didn't you call them? Why didn't you take action? Why didn't, as opposed to just saying, like, I can sit in the silence and give them the opportunity to discover their obstacle, possibly find solutions to their obstacle and overcome their obstacle without me being like, here's the directions. Because A, the directions are very narcissistic, right? What do I know about their real experience? But secondly, because I want to give them the resilience and the grit. And it comes from me having the patience to sit with them, being like, what should I do, Rabbi? I'm like, I don't know. What do you? You have the same direct line to God that I do. So let's talk about it. And sitting with that. And I did bring a little tool. I keep this in my office. So I like the blue tape, by the way.
That's a key part of that tape. The blue painting tape.
The irony of everything is people come into my office and there's all kinds of like different things from, awards and all kinds of stuff. Always people talk about this. They could care less about the shofar and the ritual items, but the first one is consider that he or she may be right. Like, do I want to be a rabbi? Do I want to be right? Or do I want to help someone?
Yeah.
Listen, don't speak, ask questions, slow down. That's like yellow is in yellow because yellow is bright. Do not hurry, do quietly, do calmly. Before a difficult situation escalates, step outside, pause, take a moment of privacy. And my most important is, how important is it? Because sometimes in that moment of impatience, I think everything is life or death.
Yeah.
And very little is actually life or death.
Yeah.
Most things can tolerate 24 hours.
Yeah.
But I think that for me is very practicing patience so that I can be a far better rabbi.
Well, no, I love about your cards here. I mean, you're such a good you're such a good psychologist, and you don't even know it, right?
I send people to psychologists. Yeah.
No, but a lot of what you have on here is exactly what the research shows works. I mean, you've nailed it. The fact that you have these cards, like, the research shows we need to remind people, and you need tangible ways. So whether it's like something we've worked on is like trying to create an app that can ping adolescents and be like, oh, now if you're upset, maybe you should try to breathe. Right? So, but you need to remind people in some way that, oh, there's things I can do.
So something else I do, just FYI, is I open the door and I say, let God walk before me.
Yep.
So I let God into the room before I do. And I tell people, open the door, let God walk in
Yep.
to fill the space so that I can actually serve as opposed to, be all about me.
What about you, Tasneem?
I'm just soaking it all in. I think one of the misconceptions around patience is that it's very passive. It means you sit back, you don't do anything. And I think what we're discussing is showing how active it really is. And it's really a mindset, more so than anything, and a very intentional mindset at that. And so the work that I do is really bringing people of different backgrounds, differences together, religious differences, cultural differences, and creating the space for them to really get to know one another. And you need patience for that. You need that intentionality for that.
Yeah.
So one of the organizations that I work for is called New Ground. It's a Muslim-Jewish Partnership for Change. And we bring Muslims and Jews together, and we don't hold anything off the table when it comes to discussing the hard stuff. And oftentimes people have to sit in that circle and listen to the other person saying not only something that they disagree with, but opposes their own reality, opposes their understanding. And to be able to sit there, first listen, without reacting, then reflect back to let them know I heard you, and then to respond with a yes and, like, this is my truth, this is how it's different for me, and not hold back at all. But that practice is one of patience. And there have been times when a lot of people who go through this program be like, I wanted to walk out, it's frustrating, it's overwhelming. And they keep coming back because I think, one, they're committed to the relationship that's been formed. And two, they are building that muscle, and they can see, that something is working and something here is worth it. It's worth it for me to listen. It's worth it for me to be present. One thing that I sometimes get down about is like, I so believe in the work that I'm doing, and yet the ripples effect of it takes so long. And the world is crazy, and we want the change now. And can we really have that with what I'm doing?
Or you have to have patience with your measures of success. Right? Talking about patience.
See it all occur, and to really see and find the fruits of your own labor.
That's so interesting, because there is this kind of counterintuitive aspect to patience that we find, right? People are like, well, if I'm patient, I'm not going to get done as much. Or if I'm patient, I'm not going to really pursue my goal. But we've actually done some studies where we track people's goal pursuit across time, like over 10 weeks, for instance. And you find that when people are patient, they're actually better at achieving their goals.
That's interesting.
They have more meaning. They're more satisfied. They actually exert more effort.
That needs to be like a bulletin board on Sunset.
Yeah,
Like a huge like billboard that just says like, you will achieve your goals with more patience.
Slow down. Slow down. Like so often we just don't think about that, and it's just so countercultural of rush, and
and check it off the to-do list.
Just get it done. Just get it done.
Get it done.
With success, we often think we always have to be doing, and we often don't take the time to step back and really be able to. Whether it's surrender to God in that moment of just trust. So the beauty of patience is it can form us and shape us, and it allows us to endure or to engage in a way that improves who we are.